I've been training for a long time now. I'd say about maybe 10-ish years because I started when I was about 14 years old. And I have done many things wrong, but in all that time I've also done many things right. And so in this video, I want to tell you guys exactly 7 things I did right when I started lifting so that you guys can incorporate each and every one of these things, which will allow you to get your results a lot faster than I did. Without much further ado, let's get into the first thing. I started using bodyweight training from the very first day I entered the gym. I focused on getting stronger, particularly in my push-ups and my pull-ups. And for those that don't know, if you get really strong at bodyweight training, it builds up a foundation of strength that carries over into regular weight training. So you'll more often find that calisthenics athletes, people who train primarily using their body weights, even though some of them might have never touched a weight in their life, because of getting strong in the basic body weight movements, when they eventually go to the gym and start lifting weights, they will automatically be ridiculously strong because they have built up a solid foundation of strength. And I really truly believe that every single person, man or woman, should have a solid foundation of body weight strength. It is completely unacceptable in this day and age that you cannot perform 10 push-ups using good form or 10 pull-ups using good form. If you haven't already started utilizing bodyweight training, be sure to incorporate at the very least push-ups and pull-ups into your regular routine, and you will start seeing amazing gains from that. Secondly, I've always been a proponent of form over weight. Personally, I could give a fuck about strength. My primary purpose of training is for gains, is for my aesthetics, is for how I look. If primarily your focus is on building muscle, your muscles don't give two shits how much weight you are lifting. Okay? So focus on the form. Once your technique is solid, one, it's going to prevent you from getting injuries, which will put you off the gym, which will only prolong getting the results that you want to get. And secondly, using good form is what will allow you to actually target the muscles you want to target. So if you're doing bicep curls and you're leaning all the way back like this, it's not your biceps doing the work, dumbass. It's your lower back. Whereas if you would actually take your time to master the form of a bicep curl, then your biceps will actually be doing most of the work, and therefore they're going to get a lot bigger than if you used shit form. So form always comes before weight. Leave your ego outside of the door, focus on your form, and again you will get much better gains because of that. Third, I trained legs. It is all too common to find the gym bro that has a massive upper body, particularly arms and chest, but he has toothpicks for legs. Guys, why? Why? You need to understand that for aesthetics, if you want to look good, unless you're planning on wearing sweatpants for the rest of your life, which if you are, it's a free world, let it do what it does. But for the rest of you, for fuck's sake, train your legs. Squat every once in a while. The stronger your legs actually, it is going to help with all of your upper body lifts. The bench press, you're going to need to use leg drive to get a bigger bench press. The overhead press, you use your legs. Bent over barbell rows, I can assure you if you have stronger legs, you're going to be able to lift heavier. So if you want to maximize the size of your upper body and also just to look like a complete human being, train your legs. So I did that from the get-go. Yes, I'll skip a leg day every once in a while, but for the most part, I actually enjoyed training my legs and I trained them hard. So be sure to do that as well. Fourth, and I'd actually say this is one of the more important points to take notes, is I always tracked my workouts. From day one, you would always see me with a notebook and a pen tracking each and every one of my exercises, my sets, the weight I used, and the reps. How is muscle grown? Progressive overload. What is progressive overload? It is gradually increasing the stress that we place on our muscles over time, which then causes them to adapt by getting stronger and bigger. So I knew, let's say on day one, workout one, I did a flat bench press for, let's say 60 kgs for 10 reps. I knew the next workout I had to come in and get 60 kgs either for 11 reps or I would increase the weight. By tracking my workouts, I would constantly be making sure that I'm pushing myself harder, lifting heavier weights, and doing more repetitions over time. If you are improving over time, you are building muscle. And the most objective way to do that is to track your workouts. So don't be that guy who just goes to the gym and decides, today I feel like arms. Don't go through the motions, track your workouts, make sure that you're getting stronger week to week, workout to workout, and you will build muscle. Number 5, I always prioritized heavy compound movements. Heavy compound movements are multi-joint movements that utilize multiple muscle groups and joints in order to execute a specific movement. Common example of this is the squat, which involves the quads, the glutes, and the hamstrings. Bench press, which involves the chest, the shoulders, and the triceps. Overhead press, shoulders, triceps, and the core. Point being, you want to utilize heavy compound movements that allow you to move heavy weights because these have the greatest capacity to build the most amount of muscle mass. So if you are a beginner, which most people in the gym are, stop focusing on just doing curls and leg extensions. Instead, utilize heavy compound movements like squats, bench presses, bent over rows, because those movements are the ones that allow you to pack on muscle the easiest, the fastest, and the most effective way possible. Heavy compound movements before isolation movements. Prioritize those and you'll get better results. 6, my training intensity was always high. It's very common to find people in the gym just going through the motions, checking through their phones, checking their Instagram in between sets, and not going balls to the fucking wall. If you want to get the best results, you need to be training intensely. You need to be training at the very least 1 to 2 reps shy of form failure. Form failure here meaning to the point whereby you are unable to perform a single repetition using good form. My training has always been extremely intense. And sometimes actually I've paid the price for that because there were times where I went a bit too hard for my own good, almost got injured. Thank God, barely survived, but we did. But the point is, train hard. Your training should be uncomfortable. It should be painful. It does not mean you should be injured, but it should be tough. If your training is not tough, then train harder. You need to be training intensely because guess what? Your body doesn't want to grow muscle. You need to force it to adapt. And that adaptation is brought about by intensity in your training. So train hard, stop being a bitch, please. Last but not least, being open-minded and willing to experiment with different types of training and nutrition. I've tried everything from training a body part once a week using bro splits, upper-lower splits, push-pull legs, full body splits 3 times a week. I've experimented with so many different types of training as well as diet strategies to the point whereby I have now found out what works for me. I would never have found that out if I was dogmatic and I only stuck to one type of training. If all you've ever done is just full body training and you're scared about taking that leap into trying other different types of training, take that leap. Be open-minded because we learn by experimenting, we learn by doing. And even if it doesn't work, at the very least you'll know and you'd have learned something that does not work for you. Training and bodybuilding is very individual at the end of the day. Something that works really good for me might not work for you and vice versa. But the only way to find that out is to be willing to experiment and try new things. So be open-minded in your training. Try different exercises, different training splits, different ways of eating from time to time, and see how that works for you, because honestly you might find something that is working a lot better than what you're currently doing. So those are the 7 things I did right when I started lifting. If you have found this video helpful, be sure to give the video a like. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Welcome to the family, guys. We're on 200 subscribers. I remember we're at 65 a couple of months ago, so the family is growing quickly. I genuinely and truly appreciate every single one of you that watches and supports these videos. So leave the video a like, leave a comment, it helps out the channel, and I'll see you guys when I see you guys. Peace.